Hello everyone, my name is Sandra Williams. I'm a partner in ISG's Banking and Financial Services. I'm delighted to be here today to talk about contact centers of the future. By far, it's one of the hottest topics around, especially given the current crisis. We saw the crisis create chaos. Call centers worldwide had to rush to move to a work-at-home model. We saw it create opportunity as centers adopted new technology at a record pace, not only to better service customers, but also to safeguard remote agents. We also saw the crisis create a sudden glimpse of our future. Digital channels became central to a majority of interactions, but also contact centers became critical care channels as volume soared. So now what? Before we jump to future state, it is always wise to understand current state. So let's look at the contact center marketplace as it is today. Global market size is estimated between $320 billion and $350 billion, and there's 29 million agents worldwide. Financial services continues to be the largest industry at 26%. And it may surprise some that only 25% is outsourced today, with the majority still sitting in internal centers. Phone continues to be the highest contact method at 58%, but really this is driven by your customer mix. Younger customers, let's say under 25, prefer social and text. And the more mature ones, and we're going to say 45 years of age, prefer phone and email. A recent report shared that 70% use self-service, but only 9% of the issues are fully resolved. One of the biggest items right now, or biggest areas of concern, is the work-at-home market. Pre-COVID, 34% of the market was work-at-home, with about 2/3 being support calls. Finally, fraud continues to burden call centers. 1 in every 1,700 calls is an attempted fraud. Let's now turn to the future, focusing on 4 themes: customer and employee experience, cybersecurity, cloud technology, and personalization. Did you know the theme right away? It's one of my favorites. Who knew how accurate this family favorite would be in predicting the 21st century? Yes, we're in the 21st century, but we're in the early years. It's not so far-fetched anymore to think about the future as the next 9 to 18 months, and some would even tell you it's now, tossing those 3-year plans out the window. The need for services at an accelerated pace continues. Front and center for the future is the need to pay attention to both the customer and employee experience. Digital channels are already the first starting point for most customer care interactions. Digital first, digital all, digital now. Those are mantras today. Customers want and look for the fastest way to resolve issues. New technology will continue to flow into the customer and agent care space. So precisely how? Let's look. Work at home. Making us all rethink the employee and customer engagement. About 70-80% are working at home today. What will it look like in the future? None of us know, but we're hearing between 50 and 60%. What we do know is it is here to stay. Productivity, cloud migration, security, and regulatory risk will be the drivers of the outcome of that space. Employees must be virtually trained, coached, and managed. They need to be skilled differently. A manager or leader that used to manage agents on site may not be able to work in a remote environment. They need collaboration tools and technology that will be able to help them. We all know that a happy agent keeps the customers happy. New ways to motivate and encourage these customer-facing employees will be needed. So we talked about work at home. We've talked about online training and the collaboration tools we're going to need. Let's talk about George and his talking alarm clock. His talking alarm clock probably had super apps that allow him to have funny music to get him out of that bed, as we all remember. But it's reality today. AI-powered assistants may be the holy grail of the improved customer experience and productivity gains to come, and the banking and financial services industry is leading the way. We hear a lot about Amazon's Alexa or Google's Assistant, but what about Erica at Bank of America? Do you know they have 10 million users today? Or how about Eno at Capital One, a SMS chatbot? Capital One says Eno is both a reactive and proactive assistant. Eno provides answers to questions 24/7 via your watch, or if you want to pay a bill, you can send an emoji, a thumbs up, to pay that bill. Everybody loves to have an assistant. The Jetsons gave us a sneak preview of coming technology attractions to help both the customer and agent experience. If we turn now and look at video chats have come to play quickly as an alternative to face-to-face transactions in branches or in telemedicines because of the crisis. Barclays is promoting video banking on certain services by phone or by tablets, and call centers are next. Real-time data? How about social media? Already a daily source of communication and news. As millennials widely text and use these channels, expect to see call centers prioritize social media support. And I will add a few others into our future mix. Conversational IVR uses AI, bots, and speech technology to allow customers to choose options by speaking, avoiding all those crazy manual prompts. AI intelligent routing matches customers with the agent most likely to be able to help them based on their needs and their emotions. Chatbots, virtual assistants, already handle a lot of the common incoming questions, but growth is ahead. It's expected that robots will handle between 30 and 50% of all requests within the next 24 months. I think it's going to be sooner, but that's the data is telling us. For contact centers, AI will continue to drive top-notch self-service to deflect calls into the right digital channels for faster resolutions. The top customer experience driver today is improved self-service options. 77% of customers feel speed to resolving issues is the key to their satisfaction. Watch AI technology and trends as it will take a stronghold on the market in 3 ways: by automating business processes, by gaining insights through data analysis, and most importantly, by engaging with customers and employees. AI at scale across your business is our future. Can we just all relate to a Zoom mask? But fraud is not a futuristic cartoon or a sci-fi movie. It's reality. Call centers are considered the weakest link in the chain. 67% of all fraud tracks back to call centers. Biometrics are set to be the future of identification and authentication. Today, fingerprint and facial recognition are better known biometrics. NatWest in the UK is one of the first high street banks to open an account with a selfie. For call centers, voice biometrics are on the rise with better speech technology. TD Bank is checking 150 separate voice characteristics to verify identity. And the bank also rolled out a mobile-based authentication feature. So 2 things really ring true with me. No surprise that banks, credit unions, and other FIs are the greatest targets for fraud. That's where all the money is. And banks spend more on fraud technology than any other industry. But still, the bank and its customers are losing millions each year. Fraudsters take over accounts, they steal identities, they intercept transactions through call centers, resulting in significant losses. Digital fraud is exploding, especially in account takeover activities. AI is being used in reverse. Have you heard that we're in a fraud pandemic in the call centers? Recent volume spikes at 40% plus forced customers to digital channels. Fraudsters always take advantage of chaos. Speed of digital channels presents issues as recovery is gone once the money is pooled, which is usually less than 24 hours. We all have to be aware as our future work-at-home environment becomes permanent. It could be a hotbed of fraud. Associates at home, on computers, on laptops, or handing their phone to someone else. We're going to have a younger population at home versus the more mature base we had pre-COVID. Combating fraud in the future will be tricky. Technology will be mandatory to thaw these threats. Many banks won't have a choice but to turn to biometrics for protection. The Jetsons were absolutely right. The future of contact centers is in the clouds. Customers and employees want and need an effortless experience, an experience that should be seamless across all the different channels. Cloud-based solutions are essential to meet these demands. Call centers are primarily still on-premise, with costly hardware and software and infrastructure. Less than 18% of agents are connected to cloud services, and only about 25% of companies have confirmed a move to cloud. The crisis changed the speed for moving to the cloud, moving migration up in priority for not only business agility, but for resilience. Ultimately, it's about aiding capabilities and improving customer experience. Many institutions are playing catch up. It's a rapid change right now towards cloud solutions, with migration predictions as high as 60% soon. Cloud communication will continue to expand and reshape contact centers. It's a scalable and flexible solution. You pay as you go. You scale up and down when you need. It's a stronger service reliability needed for the work-at-home agent base. It can automatically help gather data with 20 to 25% productivity increases seen. There's deep competition in this space, and it will continue to be fierce in the future. AWS has 33% of cloud infrastructure market. Cloud solutions and AI will go hand in hand for our future. Only time will tell how fast migrations to cloud will move. We've talked about customer and employee experience. We've talked about cybersecurity. We've talked about cloud technology. But let's talk about the personal touch that makes the difference to all customers. Remember this one thing, voice is here to stay. You can't take the human out of call centers, just like you can't take the 16 billion checks that are still floating out of the payment system. Know thy client across all channels of communications. The number one challenge across all industries is a need for a 360-degree view of the customer's experience. You're going to have more channels and more customer connections and more complexity, and you're going to require more training. Large investments will be needed to fill the knowledge gaps. Digital channels will handle more transactional requests, leaving those complex ones for the personal agent touch, one supported and coached by AI and robots. You must strike an optimal balance between the digital and personal interactions going forward.
It's Rosie to the rescue.
And yes, we will all need Rosie the robot in the future. Thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to hear the thoughts on the future of contact centers